Well, hello and welcome to the Brian Hornback podcast. This is episode number 32. And I know I've said that we're going to get more consistent here. And when I say we, I'm talking about me. But, a few things have gotten in the way. But hey, we're here for episode 32. And want to thank you for listening. This past week has been an interesting week in Knox County, Tennessee. And the world, really. So let's just kind of talk about Knox County real quick, because that's kind of what we got going on. It's the city of Knoxville election is going on this year. There's 5 city council members up for re-election. A lot of things going on there. But it looks like that the county election of 2022 is kind of jumping... It's kind of jumping the city election. This week, Sherry Witt, our Knox County clerk, had a campaign kickoff on Wednesday out at Chesapeake's on Parkside Drive in West Knoxville. It was very well attended, very successful kickoff for her campaign. As of now, she has no opponent, and I would anticipate, I would be surprised if Sherry has an opponent. Simply because when she won 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, 3 years ago, she had a fairly spirited campaign with a now former legislator, and she won that race fairly convincingly, very well convincingly. So she's done a great job bringing that office back to some sense of normalcy, some sense of professionalism. I believe the employees are very happy now, and the citizens are happy. So things are going very well in the clerk's office. The next night, Tom Spangler, the Knox County Sheriff, kicked off his campaign out at Concord Marina, and had a good crowd from what I can tell. I was not able to attend. I had a family commitment, but some folks sent me some pictures, and so that story's up on brianhornback.com. And so that race is off and running. He does have a challenger in former Sheriff Jimmy J.J. Jones. No word on when Sheriff Jones is going to kick off his campaign, but he's obviously already got some money in the bank because he's got some billboards up. And so that race is fast and furious here right at a year before just less than a year now. The primaries the Republican and Democrat primaries May the 3rd of 2022, so we're less than a year out. This coming week, I know that Dino Cole, who is a Knoxville lawyer, is having a campaign kickoff on Monday. He's actually going to be challenging sitting Chancellor Clarence Eddie Pridemore in the Republican primary May 3rd. And also on this coming Thursday, Justin Biggs, at-large county commissioner, will be kicking off his campaign for the Knox County trustee. Biggs has worked in that office for a number of years as the delinquent delinquent administrator. Folks who don't pay their taxes in a number of years run the risk of their property being sold. And so he is the delinquent tax administrator, and he's been in that office, like I say, for a number of years. Ed Schaus is term limited, so he can't run for election again. So he will. Biggs is running for that seat. So we'll see how that transpires. But then there's some more things coming up on the city elections, so I'll be letting you know more about that as we get closer. The filing deadline should be fast approaching on that one. We have, of course, the city and county budgets are going on. Of course, the Knox County school system had an interesting meeting this past Wednesday night. I've said it before, history has a chance of repeating itself. And I witnessed something Wednesday night that was history repeating itself, and that was the situation with Daniel Watson, the fairly new school board member, had come with a proposal about security and some things that going on in the school system, and he did it the right way. Okay, he brought it to the school board work session, got a lot of input, created a resolution, presented that resolution to the school board, and there was only 3 people that supported it. It was Evie Satterfield from the 1st District. Her district is the one that includes the Austin East High School, where Anthony Thompson Jr. Lost his life at the hands of KPD officers in a bathroom by shooting. So Evie Satterfield voted for it, Jennifer Owen voted for it, and then Daniel Watson. The other 6 board members voted no on the resolution. And when I say history repeats itself, I was on the school board 20 years ago, and there was a lot of things that I was able to accomplish in 4 years, but there were also some things that I wanted to accomplish that it seemed like I was just spinning my wheels. I would talk in work session and come up with what I thought everyone was in agreement with, and then when it come to a vote, it didn't happen. And really, that's what happened Wednesday night, was that Daniel Watson had come and they had an extensive conversation, work session. He had recrafted the resolution. He presented it, but they still voted down. And so it seems when you're in that position, when I was in that position 20 years ago, you just feel like you're not, just feel like you're spinning your wheels. It's just work and work for no reason. And so I hope that Watson will continue to keep up the fight. He defeated Tony Norman, a former Black Wednesday Knox County Commissioner, Norman very much needed to be replaced, no doubt about it. Now I think folks didn't realize that Daniel was maybe more of a left-leaning social justice warrior, but I don't have a problem with that. I think he does a great job in what he's doing, and I may not agree with Daniel on everything. I may disagree with Daniel on more than I agree with him on, but I'm about the First Amendment and standing for what you believe in, and I think that's critically important. Some things going on outside, some interesting things that are going on outside the county. There was a story on WVLT yesterday. That would be Friday, the 14th of May of 2021. And I give those dates because I realize that these things are going to be archived forever, and people are going to be able to listen to them forever. And so that's why I give the context. But down in Monroe County, WVLT had a video that had a jail employee that jumped an inmate and beat the inmate, and there were other officers standing by, and so that story went up on BrianHornback.com, obviously sharing what WVLT had done or what WVLT had reported. Then Amanda Hara, one of the Knox County or one of the WVLT co-anchors, came back and updated the story and said that the Monroe County Sheriff said that all the employees that are in that video are no longer employed at the Monroe County Jail. So that's actually a bit of good news, because Monroe County has an interesting history. It's south of Knoxville, north of Cleveland and Chattanooga. It's made up of several communities. Madisonville is where the Monroe County seat is located, Sweetwater, Tellico Plains, and so it's an interesting county and interesting politics. Just not recently, it was on March the 1st, the Monroe County School Board parted ways with the director of schools, and never really cited what the reasons for her departure were. So that's interesting. And so basically, they just had a school board meeting where very little was discussed about what she had done wrong. And so they bought her contract out, or are buying her contract out, and they replaced her with an interim director of schools. So Monroe County, interesting little place. Then it's just a lot of different things going on. Obviously, nationally, Liz Cheney has been replaced as the number 3 Republican Congress person in the Republican leadership in the U.S. House of Representatives. She was replaced by a congresswoman from New York who is a staunch Trump supporter. I don't, unlike a lot of folks, I don't make or break my Republicanism on Trump or against Trump. I think what Liz Cheney did was she tried to pander to the anti-Trump crowd, and it's just within the Republican Party. It's just not there yet. We've got the gas situation going on this past week, and going into this weekend. This is being recorded on Saturday, May the 15th, and so that reflects on the Democrat control in the Congress, in the Senate, in the presidency, and so granted that yes, I understand that the reason that the pipeline stopped was because of a cyber attack from Russia, but the gas prices have risen since Biden's been in office, and obviously that's a lot to do with, one, the Keystone Pipeline being shut down, two, the left's agenda on climate and some of the things they want to put into place over that. So it's an interesting dynamic. I think really and truthfully, when you look at an organization, the leadership, and again we're talking about the congressional Republican leadership, you really can't have a lone wolf out there. I've been that lone wolf for a number of years, and so I understand what the lone wolf is, okay? But you can't have someone in leadership who is contrary to what the other two, the number 1 and number 2, are thinking and doing within the group. Is Ellie Stefanik, I think that's how you say her name, is she the right person? Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell. But we'll just have to wait and see. It's one of those situations where you can't have somebody out there that's continually bad-mouthing, almost unfairly, the former president and the last guy that got a majority of the Republicans nationwide to vote for him. And so, I think a change did need to be made. So Liz Cheney, obviously she still keeps her seat in the Congress. That's not going to change. And she's just not the number 3 in Republican leadership of the Republican caucus. So that's going on. A lot of other things going on with the investigation of Matt Gaetz, or the investigation that's linked to Matt Gaetz. There was some underage sex. There was some sex that was paid for. Report all this allegations, all this, and so it's just one of those situations where, so that's breaking. Someone who was once called the wingman to Gates has pled guilty or has something coming up this week. So that will be interesting to see how that transpires out, and how that affects Gates, if there's anything that comes out on Gates. Gates was going to be the Lincoln Day dinner speaker in 2020, but because of COVID, that Lincoln Day dinner didn't happen. I have reported that we have the Knox County Republican Party, the chairman, Daniel Herrera, has announced that they've gotten Charlie Kirk, who is the founder of Turning Point, as their confirmed speaker. They've been working on trying to get Ron DeSantis from Florida up here, up to Knoxville as well, for that Lincoln Day dinner. It looks like it's going to be toward the end of August. Is what they're tentatively scheduling on that date. So as soon as tickets are available, I think that's going to happen next week or two. Obviously, we'll get that out so that those of you that are fans of Charlie Kirk or politicos, you can secure your tickets for that event. We're seeing a lot of big crowds at these local Republican clubs. Attended the Concord Farragut Club, I guess a week ago this past Thursday. There was probably about 40 or 45 people there. The speaker was Larson Jay, the commissioner at large, and currently serving as the chairman of the county commission. And his opponent was there as well. So not only are we seeing more activist grassroots folks showing up at these Republican club meetings, but we're seeing obviously candidates that are preparing to run in 2022 showing up as well, and starting to do some of the grassroots stuff that is necessary to do in order to mount a successful campaign. And so the Republican clubs have been an interesting dynamic, and so we'll continue to see those, I'm sure, get more popular. This past Monday, the West Knox Republican Club voted to censor Eddie Manis, the state representative for District 18, which is West Knoxville. And not sure how effective that censure is going to be. I mean, the clubs operate separately and autonomously from the county party. Best of my recollection, Manis did not attend the West Knox Republican Club when he was running for office. So I'm not sure that censure is necessarily going to bother him one way or another. But my understanding, I did not get to attend the meeting because there was a public hearing on the Knox County budget that the county commission had just before that. So I had attended that and was on my way home because I'd worked the day that day and went to that budget hearing and decided it was time to go home instead of going to the West Knox Republican Club, and because I knew somebody would tell me what was going on. So my understanding is they're sending a letter to the three folks that vouched for Manis back, when was it, last year that he got elected. So about this time last year, that was the big talk. It's how Manis was had voted in the March 2021 Democrat primary for president, and then he became a Republican candidate because three elected officials vouched for him. So my understanding is the West Knox Republican Club is going to send letters to those three folks asking them to explain their vouch. So probably not heard the last of it. You won't have seen that on brianhornback.com. I did, when I saw the West Knox Republican Club report it on their Facebook, I did share it on the brianhornback.com Facebook page, so you might want to be following me there for stuff like that that doesn't necessarily make it to the actual website. So again, I appreciate you joining me today for this episode 32, and hope that we will talk again in the very near future. You all have a great day, and check out brianhornback.com, and I greatly appreciate it. Have a good one.